Good morning, my name's Ryan Littlestone from forexflow.live. Welcome to another week. A little bit of an absence by myself, having caught the lurgy for the last couple of weeks, but all well and good from that, and we can get right back into trading and get right back into the thick of Brexit again, which is what we're dealing with now with the pound particularly. And I'm going to look at cable, pound versus the dollar, and going to start by looking at the daily chart. And here we are in a bit of a period of wild consolidation, you can call it. The last week or so has really seen some big volatile moves, 200 pips up, 200 pips down, that sort of thing. And it's all because of Brexit coming to a big head again. We had the deadlines last week of the EU summit, Boris's deadline at the 15th. That wishy-washed out, if you like. Became a bit blurred, diluted, that passed. But where we are now is we finished sort of Friday, at the end of the week, with Boris pretty much calling off talks, saying there's no point in progressing talks further. And the strange thing with that is that the pound didn't really drop on that. I think it dropped 30, 40 pips, but in the context of pretty much ending the Brexit negotiations, it didn't drop. And there was a specific reason for that. And that is that the market is perhaps just sniffing out a bit more bluff and bluster from these negotiations. As we know from negotiations in any business, in any scenario, things tend not to happen until the 11th hour. And so what we're getting is a lot of rhetoric from both sides that they need to do something, the other side needs to do something. And so the market, although it's been volatile and jumping around, it is pretty much saying, well, both sides are just talking hot air at the moment, so we really need to see something definitive. But the market is also sensing that there is likely to still be a deal. So going back to the chart, looking at, as I said, the cable chart, the daily chart, we're finding that we're sort of in a pretty much a 127, 130, 80, 31 range at the moment. We can see that last week that was marked by a trend line which comes from the 2018 through 2019 highs. Round about that 30-80 mark, and we hit that pretty hard, and that's marked a top. On the downside, we're sort of finding around the low sort of 129s, mid 128s at the moment, with an extension down to that sort of 127, 126.90 area. That's the key marker at the moment. Now, whether there's enough impetus in any deal scenario or no deal scenario to break either side of that, I think we've got to get concrete news. All this faffing around with, a deal still possible or no deal still possible is all, as I say, hot air and pretty much political circus and political theatre and the noise from that. So until we get something definitive, like the deal is basically off, Brexit basically off, or that there's going to be a deal, that's when we're going to see a bigger move. So what we're going to look at on the chart basically is the levels where we're going to see a break up. If we do get confirmation of a deal, that something is properly coming together, then I think we're going to be surpassing that 131 level and heading up perhaps to the bigger level at 135, which we've spoken about before. And as you can see on the chart, there is a huge big double top. That's the sort of area I'll be looking on the deal, perhaps at the least, depending on the outcome from it. Because another side of the fact is we could get what some people are calling a skinny deal or a Brexit light, which isn't going to be anything major, and it's going to kick the can a bit further down the line. To the downside, confirmation of a no deal, that negotiations are off, that's it, that's the end, it's going to WTO, then we're going to be testing that 127 handle, perhaps even lower, because then that brings the Bank of England possibly back into the equation, looking at changing policy based on the Brexit outcome. In amongst that, we're obviously dealing with everything that's going on with the virus and US elections and God knows how many other things in. So likely to be a busy week ahead. So as usual, I wish you all the best and good luck.